Hello, 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 my loves. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So this is going to be the weekly astro forecast for the week of May 6th through May 12th, 2024. So it's a light week. Not too much going on in the sky this week, except we do have a new moon in Taurus, which is going to dominate the energy this week, but it's actually really nice kind of energy. It's nothing too heavy. I feel like this is one of those weeks where we kind of get a reprieve, right? We survived the hellhole that is eclipse season. Now, the year is just marching on. We haven't quite gotten to the point of the year where a lot of planets start going retrograde, although Pluto has gone retrograde in May. But by the time we get to the summer, that's when things really start to slow down because we start adding more planets to that list of retrograde planets. However, May, kind of a nice month. And this week, kind of a nice week because, again, we don't have that much going on. All right. So before I get into all of those details, you know the deal. It's announcements and housekeeping. So if you are joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Please say hi on your way in and hit that like button, please. And thank you. It lets the algorithm know that you like this kind of content so that it can disseminate it to other people who would like this content. And that really, really helps the channel. So I super duper appreciate that. And if you are joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. I sincerely hope that you get what you're looking for with this broadcast. It's chock full of relevant information that you need to know going into this new week. And if you find that it's valuable, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as well. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, so if you are someone who's interested in your horoscope, but you have no idea where to look, or perhaps the stuff that's on the internet is either too lengthy or doesn't resonate, then you'll definitely want to consider subscribing to my text service where you will get your horoscope texted to you every Monday morning. If you are interested, you are going to want to text the word ZODIAC to the number 855-826-5544. Again, your weekly horoscope, short, sweet, to the point. People seem to really like it. It really resonates. So definitely consider subscribing. The information will be in the description box below. And as always, if you are someone who is brand spanking new to astrology and you have no idea what's going on, or maybe you aren't so brand new to astrology and you still kind of don't know what's going on because it's a lot. It is a lot. Don't worry, I've got you covered. So I created this thing called the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet, which is essentially the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying and understanding astrology, mainly the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. So it's an 11-page PDF document that gives you a quick summary on all of these things so that you can start committing them to memory. Because regardless of what anyone says or doesn't say about astrology, it is indeed a science. And like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So to help you start studying, I compiled this cheat sheet. So if you are interested, the link will be in the description box below. All you need to do is drop your email and you will be good to go. All right. All right. I'm super excited that I've launched my channel membership. So if you're looking for a way to support the channel, or if you would like additional content, then definitely consider becoming a roommate. So as a channel member, aka a roommate, you will get additional content, early access to videos, plus a forever discount on all of my products and services. All right, so if you're interested, the link to that will also be in the description box below. And last thing, I started doing monthly webinars. So if you're interested in learning more about astrology, if you want to know more about your particular natal chart, then you'll definitely want to check out these webinars. So last month's webinar was all about how to read your natal chart, like just an overview of the basics. And trust me, as the months go by, we're going to get deeper into our natal chart so you will understand it from soup to nuts. And this month's webinar is one of my favorite topics, and it is love and money. All right. The two things that people want to know most about. All right. I'm going to teach you how to find your money planets, how to attract more money to you, identifying what your spouse, what your partner looks like, your love language. All of that information is contained in your natal chart, and I am going to teach you how to access it. All right. So this webinar is going down on Wednesday, May 15th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be linked to the video, so definitely sign up. And don't worry, even if you can't make it to the live event, the replay will be emailed to you. So this is definitely one of the webinars you won't want to miss. All right. And again, that's going down on Wednesday, May 15th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. All right. So let's get into it now that we've gotten all of that out of the way. Like I said, it is a light week. It's actually a really nice week. This new moon in Taurus energy is very beautiful. It's very fertile. Okay. I did a dedicated video on this new moon. I will link it in the description box below if you haven't checked it out already. But essentially, this new moon is a planting moon. This is the moon where we are planting seeds, specifically seeds of wealth and abundance. So, if you want to change your money situation, if you want to have a new financial life, even when it comes to relationships, if you're trying to stabilize some relationships in your life, then this is going to be the new moon for you. Now, that's the general energy of this new moon. Obviously, you're going to want to check to see where this is going down in your particular natal chart to know exactly how it's going to affect you. But there's this undercurrent of stabilizing money and love with this new moon. So this is the time to get everything right. All right. And again, other than that, a light week. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, of course, we start off with the highlights. So first, we have what I like to call from test to testimony. And this is Mercury conjunct Chiron, which is actually happening today. So this is being conscious of your wounds and your healing and your trauma. This is about speaking about your healing, being vocal about what you've overcome, and also about being recognized for your healing as well. So this is the time to really speak about what you've been through, speak about what you've overcome. And perhaps the word that comes to mind is commiserate. And I don't want to say commiserate because we're not going to do that, but sort of not trauma bond either, but sort of get with people who are healing as well. People who can be inspired by what you've done, what you've overcome, and perhaps people who can inspire you to continue the healing process. Mercury conjunct Chiron, it's a very eye-opening kind of transit. It's also one that's packed with action. All right, and I'll get more into that a little bit later on. Next, we have what I like to call planting a new garden, and this is the new moon in Taurus, right? So it's planting seeds of generational wealth, starting new, long-lasting projects, and issues regarding value and worth are definitely going to come to the forefront, all right? So these are sort of the things that we're dealing with this new moon. And then finally, we have what I like to call cementing your dreams, and this is the sun sextiling Saturn. So this is making your dreams a reality. This is building new foundations and also creating comfort in your life. All right. So let's get into the week and see exactly what we've got going on. So today we've got Mercury conjunct Chiron, and both of those planets are in the sign of Aries. Then we've got the moon moving into Taurus, whereby tomorrow on Tuesday, we will have that new moon in Taurus and the sun will sextile Saturn. Then on Wednesday, we have the moon moving into Gemini. And then on Friday, we've got the moon moving into Cancer, right? Real light week. All right. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so today we've got Mercury conjunct Chiron, and we've got the moon in Taurus. So in that red circle, you will see a little purple guy and a green guy. The purple guy is Mercury, the green guy is Chiron, and they're both at 21 degrees of Aries. And then that brown moon is the moon, obviously. And you'll see that at 0 degrees of Taurus. All right. So first and foremost, I know I say this every week, but I absolutely love this. I love how you all say hello to each other. It's such a cute little community that you guys are building, and how you guys are just like all present and saying hi. Like it warms my heart like you wouldn't believe. So thank you again, you guys, for tuning in. All right. So first up, let's talk Mercury conjunct Chiron. So this is that from test to testimony that I was just talking about. Chiron is an asteroid. It's known as the wounded healer. It has everything to do with our trauma, our wounds, our insecurities. And with Mercury conjunct Chiron, we become very aware of it. It's like we see it from a logical perspective. Like, okay, this happened to me in the past. That's why I feel this way. Or this was a repeated pattern that I experienced. That's why I act like this every time I see this thing, right? You get what I'm trying to say. And so, in this awareness of our wounds, we can not only heal ourselves, right? But we can give testimony to what we've overcome. Mercury is the planet of ideas, communication, conversation. Mercury is the planet of relation. It's like how we relate to each other on a verbal plane, right? And so it's really important to talk about what you have overcome, what you are currently working on. Now, it's not to say that you need to stand on a soapbox and tell everyone your business. This talking could be with a therapist. This talking could be with a friend. But Mercury conjunct Chiron, it's all about taking action and being active and proactive about healing and talking about it. You know, one of the things that actually came to mind when I was talking about this was, an issue that occurred an issue that I had in 2018 and how it took me so long to verbalize what it even was. And once I was able to speak to someone about it, it didn't even just feel like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It's like I gained perspective when it came to this issue. And this issue was very much representative of a wound that I had been carrying for years, right? But there's something about vocalizing it. There's something about communicating it that can help in the healing process. And I feel like Mercury conjunct Chiron is that transit that sort of gets you to do that. Now, that may be uncomfortable, right? Healing is never a comfortable thing, but it's definitely a great first step to healing. So if you are feeling, and this is actually great, right? I love the juxtaposition of this particular transit because this is immediately preceding the new moon in Taurus. So new moons are when the slate is wiped clean, right? It is the time when we plant new seeds. But when you're planting seeds, right? Before you plant seeds, you definitely have to turn over the soil. You have to remove remnants from last season's harvest. It's like you have to provide space to plant these seeds. And it's difficult to provide space when you're holding on to wounds, when you're holding on to trauma. So I like this transit because it sort of gets you to free up space so you can manifest material abundance, so that you can manifest wealth, right? And that space that needs to be cleared is that emotional baggage. And so Mercury conjunct Chiron is great to do some active healing work, to talk to someone, like I said before, like a therapist, a friend, maybe even, a pastor or something like that. But this is the time that you want to be vocal about your healing and give your testimony, because you never know who can benefit from what you've been through. So being vocal about your healing process is really important under this transit. And then we have the moon moving into Taurus. So now the new moon in Taurus is happening tomorrow. So the moon in Taurus tonight is what's known as the balsamic phase of the moon. It's when the moon, it's like the darkest that the moon is going to get before it turns into the new moon, right? And so a lot can be done in the dark, right? A lot of nefarious things obviously can be done in the dark, but remember, darkness is the impetus to creation. Seeds are planted in the dark, correct? And that's sort of the energy that we're dealing with right now. So this is an opportune evening to really get clear on what it is that you are trying to manifest at this new moon. And do it in the dark, right? This isn't the time to be publicizing, oh, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. This is the time to go within. This is the time to really get clear on what material things you want to manifest, what seeds you want to plant, because we're going to start planting those seeds at the new moon tomorrow. So Taurus generally has to do with comfort, has to do with luxury, has to do with security, okay? And the moon is exalted in Taurus, meaning that it is one of the best places. The moon is like put on a pedestal in the sign of Taurus. So that energy of relaxation, of comfort is very potent when the moon is in Taurus. So tonight, get comfy. Take out your journal, perhaps light some, great smelling candles. I happen to sell some, so definitely check out my website. Sorry, that's a shameless plug. But yeah, light a nice candle, relax, put on your comfy PJs, and just think about what it is that you would like to manifest. Okay. So that's today. Let's keep it moving. All right, so Tuesday is definitely the star day of the week. So you'll want to put a gold star next to Tuesday because this is when we have that new moon in Taurus. And you'll see that, excuse me. Oh, hold on, water break. Okay, there we go. That new moon in Taurus is going down tomorrow, and you'll see that at the bottom right-hand portion of the chart, both the sun and the moon are going to be at 18 degrees of Taurus. And then we also have the sun sextile Saturn. So the sun at 18 degrees of Taurus is going to be sextile to Saturn, which is at 17, 18 degrees, depending on the time of day of Pisces. All right. So I'm not going to go too much into the new moon because I did a whole dedicated video on that. However, suffice it to say, it is planting time. It is time for you to plant seeds of generational wealth. And I mean that quite literally. Money is the undercurrent for this particular new moon, point blank period, because we're dealing with Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, okay? Relationships to a certain extent, of course, it depends on where this is going down in your natal chart, but there's going to be an undercurrent of, if not money, value and worth, okay? Those are the two words I want you to keep in mind with this new moon. So what is valuable to you? What long-lasting things, tangible things do you want to have? And, a lot of times, I know I suffer from this, and I don't know, maybe if you do too, let me know in the chat or in the comments. When it comes time to manifest things, particularly around the time of the new moon, I always feel like it has to be some sort of major thing, right? Or something that has like a spiritual element to it. Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It's okay if you want to manifest some money. It's okay if you want to manifest a car. It's okay if you want to manifest a yacht, right? Sometimes if you're on this spiritual journey, sometimes you feel like, it has to be this really etheric, very like high morality kind of thing. This new moon in Taurus, not so much. It can definitely be something material, okay? But something that is long lasting, something that is worth it to you. Because here's the thing with Taurus. Taurus loves luxury. Taurus loves comfort, but Taurus also knows that you have to work for that. So we're planting seeds at this new moon, but these are seeds that we are going to have to till, that we're going to have to nurture, that we're going to have to put in the work to see come to fruition. Okay. So be prepared to work. Now, this may be a new moon where you feel like you are in uncharted territory. And I really go into this in the dedicated video. But suffice it to say, it's like the lay of the land is going to be different. For some, especially if you're watching this live or this video, it's like you have a new perspective on things. Your mind or your subconscious mind may be rewired in a different way. So whereas you may have tried to manifest the thing that you want to manifest at this new moon, maybe you've tried to do it before and it wasn't so fruitful. Perhaps now is the time because you've gained wisdom and knowledge that you're going to use at this new moon. Okay. So don't necessarily like count yourself out or sell yourself short. Like I said, perhaps you've tried manifesting this thing in the past. It didn't work out, didn't pan out, didn't pattern out the way that you want to. Perhaps this time will be better. All right. So get to work and figure out what it is that you want to bring to life, what you want to see come to fruition with this new moon. Now, the other transit that we have for Tuesday is the sun sextile Saturn. And I like this in conjunction with the new moon because sun sextile Saturn is like, all right, I'm ready to get to work. I'm motivated. I'm amped. And it's like, you're seeing the bigger picture and you're willing to put in the work to make that happen. It's like literally dreams coming to reality. It's taking a nebulous idea or a nebulous dream and actually cementing it and crystallizing it into tangible form. But again, it requires work. So in tandem with this new moon in Taurus, we've got the sun and Saturn kind of adding some extra staying power to whatever it is that we're trying to manifest. So be very intentional. Okay. Now with Saturn in Pisces currently, you have to be careful about what you focus on, what you imagine. Now, typically, when you hear the word imagination, you think of like imagining good stuff, right? However, if your mind is constantly fixed on negativity, if you're constantly imagining the worst case scenario, that is exactly what's going to be cemented right now. So be very intentional and mindful about what it is that you're manifesting and what you're willing to put in the work for. It's great to say, I want to be a millionaire, right? It's great to say, oh, I want this yacht. You know how much work you're going to have to put in for that? Are you willing to do that? Not only is there work, there's sacrifice. There's sacrifice. I heard a wonderful, and I'm about to go, this isn't so much of a tangent, but this is definitely good information to know as it relates to Saturn in this particular instance. One of my favorite astrologers on YouTube is this man called Adam Ellenboss, and he has this channel. I think the channel is called Adam Ellenboss. However, his business is called Nightlight Astrology, and he's really dope. Like, I really like him, and he's very much into traditional Hellenistic astrology, which is the same type of astrology that I practice. I add a little more spiritual elements to astrology. He's very much textbook, like classic astrology, but he was explaining how Saturn, the archetype of Saturn, is like labor and delivery. When you are pregnant with a child, you are carrying a child for 9 months, right? And that is labor. Okay. That is labor, between the morning sickness, between the heaviness, between the sleepless nights. That is labor. And 9 months, it's not a little bit of time, right? That's a significant amount of time where you're in pain, where you are dealing with this thing. And then that delivery of that child. Saturn actually rules contractions. So contractions, cramps, even, like, that is all Saturn. And so it's like the birthing process is arduous. However, at the end of the birthing process, you have a beautiful baby. You have something beautiful that's a representation of you, something that you worked hard for. Saturn is arduous, it's laborious. However, it always leaves you with a gift, but you have to be willing to put in the work for it. So think about that when you are thinking about what you want to manifest, right? What you want to have, what you want to come see to fruition. Is it worth it? Is it worth putting in the work? So think about that. Think about that long and hard. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so then on Wednesday, we shift gears with the moon moving into the sign of Gemini. And you'll see that at the upper right-hand portion of the chart with the moon at 0 degrees of Gemini. So whereas moon in Taurus is all about stability, comfort, creation, right? Especially at this new moon phase. When we move into Gemini, this is when we start getting very busy. This is when we start communicating. This is when we start relating to people. Gemini is a mixy sign, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's all about multitasking. It's all about communicating. It's all about transacting business. Think about a busy marketplace, like a farmer's market, for instance. A farmer's market is very emblematic of Gemini energy. That buy and sell, that talking, that haggling, all of that is Gemini, right? When the moon is in Gemini, that's where we derive our emotional satisfaction from conversing with people, from researching, from indulging in our curiosity. So as this relates to the new moon in Taurus, right? So we planted those seeds of the new moon in Taurus. And now when we get to the moon in Gemini, this is when perhaps we do research with respect to what it is that we're manifesting. When we talk to people, when we transact business, when we do all of those kind of things with respect to whatever seeds we planted at that new moon in Taurus. So between Wednesday and Friday, you may find that things get very busy. You may have a lot on your plate. You may be communicating more. You may be learning more. You may be talking to people more, right? The essence of Gemini energy. That's how you get the ball rolling from the seeds that we planted at that new moon in Taurus. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. And then finally, we close out the week on Friday with the moon moving into Cancer. All right. I told you it was light week. So you will see the moon on the right hand side of the chart at 0 degrees of Cancer. All right. So Cancer is the home sign for the moon. So when the moon is in Cancer, we feel extra emotional, extra sensitive, moody, crabby, even, right? That's the emblematic energy signature of Cancer. But Cancer is about comfort as well. It's about home, it's about nurturing, right? And so, because we're in the waxing phase of the moon, again, because we have that new moon tomorrow, so between tomorrow and 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will be in the waxing phase of the moon. That just means that you're taking active steps towards whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. And when the moon is in Cancer, we nurture those seeds, we water them. Water element it signifies emotions. How do you feel about what it is that you're trying to manifest? It'll be very difficult to manifest something that you don't feel good about. Unless you're fearful, unless you're feeding the fear or the anxiety of that thing. If you're like, yeah, I really want a boat, but you're not excited about it, or you don't feed positive emotions into it, it's going to be kind of difficult to manifest it. So water the seeds of your manifestations with your emotions. Feel good about it. No matter how far off that manifestation feels like it is, no matter how hard you may have to work, feel good about it. That is what's going to contribute to your manifestation coming to fruition. All right. And on a more mundane level, whenever the moon is in Cancer, we like to stay at home. Dealing with women typically becomes a thing because Cancer is like the sign of the mother. The moon is also the sign of the mother. So mothers may be really relevant, mother figures, mothering energy, tending to things at home, hunkering down at home. Home and mothers are really big when the moon is in Cancer. So that may be something that's on the menu for you at that time. All right, my love. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the astrology for the week. So now I will be pulling cards for us from Spirit. All right. So, as always, as you know, I like to pull cards for every sign for messages from Spirit for the week. Now, I do this by sign. However, if the message resonates with you, then it is your message. It could be your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising, your Venus, your North Node. Doesn't matter. If it is your message, then it's your message. And if it is not, then it is not. All right. So, as always, we start off with Aries. Let's see what we have for Aries for this week. All right, Aries, we have this card called Memoirs. This is actually like the death card in the tarot, okay? It is Scorpio energy. Hopefully you can see that. I love the holographic nature of these cards. It's like really pretty. But anyway, there is something that is definitely coming to an end for you this week, okay? And it's actually a good thing. I feel like you're at a point where you're ready to move on to the next thing. You're really ready to let this thing go. And there's sort of this energy of reminiscing about how this thing transpired or what happened with this thing, right? It's like this isn't that something that's like being snatched out of your hands or something that's ending abruptly. It's like something that has really run its course and you're ready to let it go. This is such beautiful energy and it's like this transformative energy. You're moving on to something new, but you're moving on better. You've learned, you've experienced, you're like the phoenix rising from the ashes and now you're in a new stage. And again, this relinquishment, this letting go, it feels very natural. It feels very peaceful almost. So you're ready. If you've been contemplating this, if you've been mulling it over and thinking about, well, should I do this? Is it time? It is indeed time. And it is okay to let this thing go. And it will be a very beautiful and peaceful experience for you. Okay. Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we've got for Taurus for this week. All right, Taurus. We have this card that is called Reincarnation, and this is akin to the World card in the Tarot. So you are also at an ending point and you are leveling up. You've graduated. You've learned all the lessons you've needed to learn. Perhaps you've healed a major issue in your life, and now you're moving on to the next level. Like a video game. You've conquered this level and now it's time to level up. It is definitely a time of celebration. And Spirit also wants you to know that you can relax now. I want to say that within the recent past, so perhaps in the last couple of weeks, maybe in the last couple of months, you've been tested. Think of it as like at the end of the school year where you have all of your finals before you go on to the next grade. You have all these tests, right? That's what the last couple of weeks or months have been like for you. And you've passed. You've actually passed with flying colors. And so now you can move on to the next thing. You can relax. You don't have to be on edge. You don't have to be nervous or anxious. Just go with the flow. This is a new level. You're not necessarily dealing yet with a new devil, because you know the saying, new level, new devil. You're not quite there yet. This is the part where you can celebrate and you can enjoy. So enjoy and relax. I love this for you, Taurus. All right, next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see what we've got for Gemini for this week. Gemini, we've got the gatekeeper, which is akin to the emperor in the tarot. So this is a week of action for you. You see this gate here. Hopefully you can see it. Right? This gate, I see you like bursting this gate open. Like there is this level of aggression that I'm feeling with you. Like you are full steam ahead like a freight train. There is a bit of anger there too. I feel like this forward movement is like fueled by anger. So it could almost be kind of reactionary. It's feeling like something has happened and you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. And you just boom, you just like busting forward. Like you're breaking out of something. You may be breaking something, but it's very like aggressive kind of energy. And it feels like energy or anger that's been pent up for a while and you're finally releasing it. Now, this is a good thing because you shouldn't hold anger, right? However, you don't want to be too destructive either. So you want to take a more calculated approach to whatever this action is, this breaking through the gate. You want to be a little more calculated, a little less destructive. You can still be angry. You can still move forward forcefully, but just be mindful of how forcefully you are moving forward, okay? Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer for this week. Ooh, that fell. All right, not going to take that one. Let's try this again. So Cancer for this week. Oof. All right, Cancer, you've got 2. You've got sacrifice. Okay, this is like the Hanged Man in the tarot. And then you've got soulmates. All right, this is just a bonus card. It's not connected to the tarot. Okay, so Cancer, there is a soulmate relationship that is the focus of this week. Okay, and you are being urged to see it from a different perspective. For some reason, I'm getting the fact that the word soulmate doesn't necessarily sit well with you. It makes you cringe a little bit. You're kind of like, ugh, soulmate, like, ugh, whatever. Soulmates are not just romantic, okay? A soulmate could be a friend, it could be a family member, but it is a fated kind of relationship where you have made a contractual agreement with this person at some time in the past, obviously, probably a past lifetime, to learn something or to help each other, right? Now, I feel like there is a sacrifice that's going to need to be made with respect to this soulmate relationship. And you previously agreed to this. Subconsciously, obviously, you're not necessarily conscious of the sacrifice that you agreed to, but you agreed to it nonetheless. And this sacrifice is going to allow you to see things in a different perspective. I feel like your whole idea of soulmates is likely going to change beginning this week, okay? It's worth it, is what I'm being told to tell you. Some of you may be very hesitant to make this particular sacrifice because you're like, well, why? I don't see this person making this sacrifice, or am I wasting my time? Am I giving too much? You know, you guys are givers. You guys are nurturers, right? And you're like, is it really worth my time and my effort to nurture this relationship? The answer is yes. This is a sacrifice that needs to be made. And understand, give yourself a little more credit. I feel like you're a lot wiser this time around than maybe you have been in the past. And it's okay. It's okay to sacrifice. It's okay to give of yourself in this relationship, because I feel like this relationship is going to unlock not only a certain part of you, but it's going to unlock certain doors that may have been closed to you previously. So it's worth it. It's worth the sacrifice. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we have for Leo for this week. Leo, we've got the card of karma, and this is akin to, there we go. This is akin to justice in the tarot. All right. So what goes around comes around, and there's no morality attached to this. It's just cause and effect. Things are about to be balanced out for you. Okay. There's going to be an evening of the scales. So that could go either way. If things have been really bad, then they're going to even out towards more good. If they've been really good, they may level out and be not as good as before, right? But either way, there is balance, and Spirit is calling for you to seek balance this week. There's some part of your life that seems a little out of whack. It seems off kilter. And I feel like this is the week where you are being urged to address that. Maybe you need to speak up. Maybe you need to set boundaries. Maybe you need to be more authentic. Communicate your authenticity more. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That will help level out the scales, all right? But either way, there's some balance that needs to be had in your life, and I feel like this is the week where you're going to, or at least be urged to, address it. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we've got for Virgo for this week. Virgo, you have the card entitled Etheric Realms, okay? And this is akin to the Moon card in the tarot, all right? So deep emotions. Some of you are taking a really deep dive into the recesses of your subconscious. I know that sounds low-key crazy. It's not crazy, but I don't know. I feel like it has to do with relationships and relationship issues and really understanding them. Really making sense of how you feel, your wounds, your traumas, whatever it is, understanding where those stem from. There's this deep dive into your psyche that I see you doing this week. And it can be perhaps emotional. It can be, I don't want to say traumatic, but it can be intense. So give yourself grace. Also give yourself the space to do this deep diving. I find that when I am in this kind of energy, this energy of what I just described, I need to hydrate more, and I definitely need to sleep more. And perhaps that may be what you need to do this week. Like really allow yourself to process whatever you're thinking about or feeling. And process is not just mentally, it's emotionally, it's also physically too. Like I said, you may need to sleep more, you may need to get more rest this week, but it's like you're getting down to the bottom of how you think about things, why you think about things, why you believe certain things. So it's a deep week, but I think ultimately you will discover a lot and understand something that may have been troubling you or that you hadn't been able to get a grasp on. I see you getting clarity with that this week. All right. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we have for Libra for this week. Libra, we have the card entitled Sacred Space, and this is like the Empress card. This is a very fertile week for you, Libra. So fertile in all ways. So you know what that means. If you're not trying to give birth to someone, you know what to do. But it's still a fertile week. So you can really give birth to some really good stuff. So be intentional, right? And understand sacred space. It's like this always reminds me of your body is a temple. So maybe this is the week that you need to address health issues, whether it's your physical health. I'm getting overwhelmingly physical health, but it could also be mental health or even emotional health. Take stock of your health this week. You are fertile, but you want to be healthy enough to put it this way, right? I'm getting the example of like actually giving birth to a child, right? You know how you have to take like prenatal vitamins and you have to eat better when you're pregnant? This is the week where you want to do that. You want to eat better for your physical body. You want to have a good mental diet when it comes to what you are ingesting, what you're listening to, who you're listening to, etc. So this is the week where you get right with yourself so that you can take advantage of this extremely fertile time for you. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what we have for Scorpio for this week. Okay, Scorpio. We have the card entitled Awakening. Okay, and this is like the judgment card in the tarot. All right, you see how this looks like a DNA helix? There is a part of you that is coming alive right now. And this could be a part of you that has been dead for a while, that's been latent, that's been hidden, that's been under wraps. Like you are having this awakening within you that is extremely profound. It's so profound that it goes as deep as your DNA. It's like you have different DNA activations happening this week. So you also will need a lot of rest, a lot of hydration, because this is happening not only on a spiritual level, but definitely on a physical level as well. And I want you to approach this with joyful expectation because the person that is emerging within you is really dope. And it's going to surprise you, sort of. It's almost like you have these latent superpowers that are just going to start to come online. And so you should be excited about that, right? It is sort of the best version of yourself that is being cultivated and ultimately will be born in the not so distant future. So rest well, get hydrated because there is a new you that is emerging at this time. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, we have the card of fate, and this is like the wheel of fortune in the tarot. Divine timing is at work, so stop worrying. Whatever this situation is that is the highlight of this week, it is fated. It is very fated. And only in divine timing can it come to fruition. Doesn't matter how much you try to micromanage. It doesn't matter how much you try to manipulate the energy. This will come in due time and in due course, okay? You just got to be patient. It's like you guys are very big picture, right? You guys are very much concerned with the trajectory, the big picture of something. But lately you feel your energy feels very fidgety. Like you've really been harping on details, wondering when something will come to pass. And spirit is like, listen, I've got it covered. We're good. We're good. You don't have to worry so much. You don't have to micromanage. You just gotta give me the space to do what I need to do when I need to do it. So this week, relax. Try to relax. Try to take your mind off it. This thing, it is assured. You don't have to worry. You just got to let spirit do its thing. Okay? Next up, we've got Capricorn. Let's see what we've got for Capricorn for this week. All right, Capricorn, we've got this card entitled Divine Guidance. And this is like the sun card in the tarot. So this is a week of recognition for you. I feel like there is going to be like a shout out, maybe a job well done. Maybe you're highlighted at work. Of course you would. Capricorn, you guys are excellent workers. So that does not surprise me. But all you need to do this week is be yourself. Being yourself is what's going to garner a lot of attention. It's going to garner a lot of eyes on you. So don't be scared. All right. Don't be scared. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't like the attention. Whether you like it or not, I feel like this is going to be a week where you get a lot of attention inadvertently. Obviously, you're not looking for it. It kind of just finds you. So shine. Be yourself. Enjoy your time in the sun. This could also be, could even be a promotion. Could be a raise, could be more money, could be a new client, right? This week is looking really positive for you, Capricorn. So enjoy it. Next, we've got Aquarius. Let's see what we've got for Aquarius for this week. Aquarius, we have the card entitled Life Lessons, and this is the Hierophant in the Tarot. So this card is self-explanatory. This is life lessons. This is, I don't want to say it's like the school of hard knocks. I don't get the sense that this is like arduous life lessons, but you're learning about life in a very practical kind of way this week. It's like you're learning how something works. You know the saying, it's like you're learning how the sausage is made. Like that's exactly what's going on this week. It's like almost like you get sort of a peek behind the curtain. You get a backstage pass, behind the scenes access to how something is really made, what it's really made of, how it really functions in a practical sort of way. And I get the sense that this information is going to prove relevant to you later on. So it's like store this in your mental notebook because this is, again, going to be relevant later on. But be observant. I feel like you're going to be offered access. You're going to be offered like a backstage pass. But if you're focusing on something else, or if you're being stubborn, like if you're just like, no, I don't want to, or this is going to go out of my way, then you're going to miss all of this relevant information that, again, is going to be relevant in the future. So don't be so stubborn and go for it. Okay. All right. That was Aquarius, I believe. And last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. So let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. All right, Pisces. All right. We have this card that is entitled The Soul, and this is like the Hermit card in the Tarot. So this is the card of your sister sign, Virgo. All right. So Virgo is actually, as a Pisces rising, let's say, is your 7th house of relationships. So although the Hermit is the card of being single, okay, I'm not even going to lie to you. This isn't about whether you're single or coupled. This is more so about enlightenment that you've gained from relationships. So perhaps the seed that you want to plant has to do with relationships, right? Because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus has to do with relationships, specifically love and relationships. So that could be a seed that you're planting at this new moon in Taurus. But you want to really examine like how you really feel about relationships. What is your soul longing for? A lot of the answers that you are seeking, or that you may even have, can be answered within. And so there's an element of retreat this week in order to sort of get your mind right about whatever seeds that you're trying to plant. So especially for you, this is going to be a week where you really want to carve out some time for meditation or journaling or whatever, because the wisdom, the answers that you're seeking, they are within. And you can't do that if you're doing all the things, if you're distracted, if whatever, right? But I do get the overwhelming sense that this has to do with relationships. So you may want to think about, again, how you think about them, what you believe about them. What are you expecting? Ask yourself all of these questions. Write them down even. Write down the answers. Write down whatever downloads you get, hopefully, in your meditation. Because I feel like it's going to give you the answers that you are seeking so that you can plant seeds that actually grow. I get the sense you've planted seeds, these kind of seeds before, and you didn't get a really good crop. You didn't get a good harvest, or maybe you didn't even get a harvest at all. Okay. This time is going to be different. Remember I said with this new moon in Taurus, we're in uncharted territory because we have wisdom gained from experience. And so spending time alone and that examination is going to help you tap into that wisdom so that this time you plant seeds that actually come to fruition. All right, my love. So that concludes this edition of the Weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you could use going into this week. For information on all of my products and services, you'll find all of that in the description box below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the best, not just for this week, but definitely for this new moon in Taurus. All right, my loves, have a great week, and I will see you next time. Take care.